Hey guys, how are you? I hope you're all doing very well. This afternoon I'm going to be doing a review of a comedy from France. This is in the English language, released in the year 2012, directed by Quentin Dupieux, and this movie is called Wrong. And the story to Wrong is as follows. Dolph Springer awakens one morning to find he has lost his sole love of his life, his dog Paul. Desperate to reunite with his best friend and set things right, Dolph embarks on a journey which spirals into the realm of the absurd. On his quest, he drastically alters the lives of several severely bizarro characters, including a promiscuous pizza girl, a mentally unstable jogging-addicted neighbor, an opportunistic French-Mexican gardener, an eccentric pet detective, and the most mysterious of all, an enigmatic ponytailed guru, Master Chang, who imparts his teachings to Dolph on how to metaphysically reconnect with his pet. From fearless cinematic surrealist Quentin Dupieux, the director behind the head-exploding Rubber, Wrong is a wholly original and hilariously hallucinatory universe all on its own. So the movie is centered upon Dolph Springer, who is the main character. He lives alone, and his best friend is Paul, his dog. So he awakens one morning to find out Paul is gone. So he is absolutely worried, he is panic-stricken, and he is asking around as to who has seen him. So he's not getting any answers, and then one day he gets a phone call from a guru who says that he knows where Paul is and that he has to come and meet him in order to find where his best friend is. So along the way, he meets these very bizarre characters that teach him the way of life, and if he wants to get to Paul, he is going to have to basically do what they say, and whether or not he can get the opportunity to get his dog back, that's something you're going to have to find out for yourself, because that's as far as I'm going with my synopsis. Now my thoughts on Wrong. If you're familiar with this DJ slash director, Quentin Dupieux, if you're familiar with his other film called Rubber, which is about a killer car tire, you know what sort of film this guy makes. And Wrong is totally different to Rubber, but it's equally as bizarre. I mean, this movie is definitely not for everybody. If you like your movies that are spelt out to you, that you don't have to think, then Wrong is definitely one movie that you can pass up on. It's a movie that will strike you with just the most random things, but at the same time it feels like it has a purpose. It feels like there is a deeper meaning to what is going on the screen. But if you're not prepared to look under that, if you're not prepared to have the patience and repeat viewings, then you might not appreciate it. And I can totally understand it. I'm not saying that you're stupid if you don't get it. I'm just saying that it's to a very acquired taste. Quentin Dupieux makes films that in Rubber, he was making fun of audiences. In this film, I'm not going to tell you what the symbolization was, but I thought it was very smart. But unfortunately, that weird sort of value that the movie has, it does get tiring after a while. And by the end of it, I was kind of thinking to myself, yeah, I mean, this is very exhausting. To start with, I loved it. It has one of the most bizarre openings I've ever seen. Really, really funny stuff. But then as the movie goes along, yes, it is funny, but then towards the end, it starts to wear a little bit thin. And it was starting to test my patience a little bit. So I thought that, yeah, having really bizarre quality is something I really appreciate. I love strange films. But this movie, it kind of overdid it to the point where it started to get a little bit stale. But having said that, it didn't ruin the experience. What you get in this film is a genuine experience of a different kind. And Quentin Dupieux is definitely one of those directors out there that a lot of people need to see, because he is not afraid to make things different. And when I say different, that is an understatement. It's totally different. I love the acting. Dolph Springer, the main character, was really likable. I love the deadpan comedy. The conversations between these really weird characters was really good, especially towards the start. And there were just some scenes that took you off guard because it was so random. I mean, for example, at the start, there's a firefighter who's going to the toilet in the middle of the street, and that's not a spoiler because it happens right at the start. But that's basically what you get. These scenes that you think to yourself, you have to rub your eyes and think, "Am I dreaming? Is this really happening?" It actually feels like you're dreaming while watching this film, because there are just those moments, when you're dreaming and you think to yourself, "Wow, that was really strange. Why did this happen?" And that it's so far out of the realms of possibility that you laugh about it. Well, this movie, it had those images where you think to yourself, you wake up from it, and then you laugh about it because it was so odd. And that's exactly what this movie is. Basically like a collection of dreams. And Quentin Dupieux really does illustrate that perfectly. And as I said, it's very, very bizarre. It's surreal. It almost feels calming to the point where it's just so deadbeat that it doesn't rely on a soundtrack. It doesn't rely on slapstick comedy. It's all very, much dialogue based. And for that, I really appreciate it. Because I actually think slapstick comedy is very easy to do. But this type of comedy is very hard, and Quentin Dupieux is a natural at it. I thought the ending, as I said, was a little bit wearing thin at the end, but having said that, it was a very enjoyable experience. I mean, the characters were all very much out there. It looked like the actors were having a lot of fun doing it. The script was really bizarre, but I loved it because it was funny. The jokes were funny, and it didn't seem like it was trying too hard. So it's a very good looking film. But if you're not a fan of this director's work, if you're not a fan of the extremely bizarre film, then you're not going to like this one. But if you want something a little bit different and it's something that you have to see to believe, then Wrong is definitely a film for you. The symbolization in it makes it a very intelligent film, but if you're not prepared to look underneath the really weird the really weird style of the film, then you're not going to get it. But if you're prepared to have a look, then the symbolization I actually thought was very touching, and it's very relevant to today's society. So overall, for Wrong, I'm going to give it 3.5 stars. 3.5 because of the fact it is very, very strange, and it does get a little bit tiresome towards the end. But I thought it was a film well worth purchasing, and I would highly recommend it to anyone out there who likes your cinema of the quirky kind. So that's my review for Wrong. I hope you enjoyed it. Till next time, keep watching movies, and I'll see you later.